Welcome everybody. Right now we gotta go as fast as we can. The goal is to get done, what is this? Solution 9, okay. The goal is to try and get the story done before I leave for my shopping trip. Right. Yeah, the shopping trip that I go to it's every once, like, twice a month. Yeah. Sadly, it fell on the shopping trip today fell on the same day as the patch, so I want to get the story done before I leave, hopefully. You're heading to the back room? Yep, let's go to the back room. Because then I can come back and do, the extreme afterwards, because that's the goal. What's that? Light world. If you have a moment, Ronald, Geode wants to take stock of the current crisis. Oblivion may be lacking in the finer details in certain areas, so we'd like you to lend your perspective to the conversation. Alright. Sorry to drag you into our meeting, but we need to get a better handle on the threats Alexandria is facing right now. Not at all. Much has happened since the state funeral, and a clear idea of where things stand would be beneficial for us all, as well. First things first, then. Let's discuss the state of the machine malfunctions. Every single sector reported instances of sentries attacking citizens without provocation, the vehicles suddenly becoming unresponsive to controls. And while these malfunctions were resolved fairly quickly, they nevertheless resulted in a considerable number of injuries and deaths. But you haven't heard anything about new incidences since then, right? Oh, right. No additional reports have been logged as far as I know. That's the good news. The bad news? The bad news is I tried to take control of the soldiers when they started hurting people, but they wouldn't listen to me even though I have the king's authority. Once things calmed down, I was finally able to make them give up their weapons, but if it happens again, I don't know if they'll ignore me like before. The King of Resolve's authority is about the highest there is. Who is this man that can override it with such impunity? Calyx. He lived in the age of the storm surge as I did. Least you forget. He was known for his advancements in electrotechnology, and it was he who established preservation for the purpose of furthering his research. The wasting disease which afflicted him, however, was said to leave him scant years left to live. He must have chosen to undergo conversion into an endless, that he might continue his efforts into the present day. Preservation's early goals seem noble enough, exploring treatments of Levin sickness, designing ever keeps course symptoms, that sort of thing. But I am harm the people he was abstinently trying to help. I do not pretend to fully understand Calyx's motivations, only that he appeared incensed by what he saw as mankind's failings. He asserted that the strategy of adapting our species through generational succession was outdated. That evolution now requires us to forsake bodies of flesh in favor of eternal preservation. We've already seen how he's employed the stimulant to convince Alexandrians that endless conversion is their only hope for survival. Eternal life is assured, for the 5,000 years who register their neo-regulators. But this is merely one part of Calyx's greater plan. He wants the key to interdimensional fusion. With that relic in his possession, he will draw ether from the reflections and expand his efforts to create endless 1,000-fold. If we mean to foil Calyx's scheme, then our only option is to determine where he's hiding and put him down. Which unfortunately is easier said than done. I've been scouring the terminal we found in the depths of Everkeep, and I found no even the slightest trace of his activities. Give me a bit more time though, and I'm sure I can snuff him out. I'll help you. While Garuja and Chao are working on that, I think I'm going to take a look around town. I want to make sure no new problems have cropped up, as well as search for any information that might lead us to Calyx. You're welcome to come along. Another malfunction could happen at any time, and I'd be glad to have some brawlers on at my back. Count me in. Raha and the others are helping Oblivion. I haven't read things like this at this scale in a long time. Patrol the other levels of the keep, so shall we stick to the streets of Solution 9? Sounds like a plan. Thanks, you two. I appreciate the company. I have to speak with the city's administrators about bringing in the Land Guard. I want our soldiers around to protect those who are moving to Toyolo. Alfredo and Alice will be joining me for the meeting, so the three of us can cover that sector as soon as we're done. If I may, I'd like to join Ronald's group, if you'll have me. The more mouths to ask questions, the merrier. As long as you're aware of the dangers. Thank you, I'll do my best not to be a burden. I'm more worried about you, Jude. Don't do anything stupid. You'll change your turn once we're back with the goods on Calyx, then. The drinks are on you. Come on, let's continue this outside. Yeah, so I'm just gonna play at this point. Because our the clock is ticking. The thing about it all is, like, I thought it was going to start up at 6, and it's like almost 5. So we were able to apparently tack on an extra hour. But sorry, I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started? People seem uneasy. They do, and I can't say I blame them. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death. And so they were for the longest time. And the moment morality once again becomes an unavoidable fact of life, mortality, they are greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternative serious consideration. Indeed, and I do not blame them for that. It is only natural for such thoughts to come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calyx wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. No one, not Calyx nor anyone else, should dictate how we cope with the specter of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices for this country's future back into the hands of its citizens. And you think we can handle that responsibility after everything you've seen of us? It is what I've seen that has convinced me you can. I awoken 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it. See it so. You all deserve to be happy. Well then. We best not let you down. Now, I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle might find us. Oh, I believe someone came prepared for such an eventuality. Is that the grimoire you retrieved from the old castle? Oh. My parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in the arcane arts, so I lay claim to some small measure of skill. A summoner? That's the case. It might be better if we split into 2 groups to certainly be more efficient for information gathering. I guess that makes sense. The 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone then. Rano and I will take the east. Aww. I wanted to see Sween summon stuff. Well, we shall end our patrol in the plaza just past Trueville and await you there. Let's do the rounds then. We'll see what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or overly excited. Huh? Hopefully they will earn us a tidbit or 2 we didn't know before. What's this? Oh, so now they tell you about escorts and stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's one conversation. Number. Are the sentries and air wheelers safe to be around now? I just know it's gonna happen again, and maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in a horrible accident. I need a neuroregulator. Becoming endless is the only way. Even Speen said so. Ah, the memories. I used to drink around here all the time. I made sure not to overdo it when I had work the next day. But once we were past the busy season, or when the ladies weren't amenable to my company, well, you'd have to scrape me off the street outside in the morning or afternoon. The worst I've ever got was on what should have been the worst day of my life. If only I could remember it. I was still wearing a regulator back then. It was also the day I first met Shell, although I guarantee she's forgotten it completely. I don't think so. Hear my story. While I appreciate you offer a sympathetic ear, there's not much to tell. You must know a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His air wheeler dropped right out of the sky and he didn't survive the crash. He wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he'd never bothered by one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday. I understand what that meant until it happened. What has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I just registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing but memories at first, but now, through with the registration, I never felt more at ease. Also, Once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. So if you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friend. When there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. Ronald, a word. I feel like there was a new factor in these stories we've heard. We haven't considered during our discussion with everyone in the background. The fights are likely going to break out over the neo-regulators? Nearly 4,000 people have registered as worthy of its own report. But are you sure that wasn't anything else? Oh. That a victim of violence. What? Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we normally think about. With a supply of souls cut off, though, more and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the casualties of the recent attacks and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. Let's ask around on the streets over to the east. It was pretty chaotic at the time. We'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. Oh. So he thinks that those not wearing regulators were targeted. Because then... which makes this all the more hazardous, because without a regulator, they can't come back, eventually. Huh? What's the hover cargo? Which one's my job to deliver goods by hover cargo? That's why I know a fair number of names and faces throughout the city. The little ones who jumped for joy when I bought them packages. The old lady who always greet me with a smile. I'd hate for anything bad to happen to them. Hello, how are you? Let me know if I may be of service. Casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing from all affected zones. Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone then? You might save some estimates on hand. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualties equipped with regulators, 0. I'm confused by that last statement. You wish to know if the people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators? I'm sorry, but I was assigned to clearing away debris. See any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers done no work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite a chore to clean up, but nothing else worth mention. Wait, what? Patches of white dust. I don't know, I think it's time we rejoin Cryo and Speed. Half joking, my boast shale, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Crowd say to meet them in the plaza just outside the Troopa? White dust. That's... either they were not even real people, or they were just robots that acted like it. You know, like the sentries when Speen took over them and such, or they vaporized them to dust. Literal white dust. So essentially, you're saying that the people who were killed by Benj weren't wearing regulators? Well, the numbers are still tentative and only applied to that one zone. We don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data. Play more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who had removed our regulators was a priority target. Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. Why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Based solely on the lack of a neuroregulator, you cannot judge. We cannot judge if a person has no desire to become endless. Simply failed to acquire one of the limited devices. But those who wear no regulator at all, they have clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put it another way, they've chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability. The chances that such resolute people would wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen these least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic. Yep. But there was no need to kill anyone. With the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. You could have found 5,000 willing citizens without all this madness. You make a good point. This sowing of terror is in service to another scheme. Or he had some other need for the lives he's taken. What about one of the dust found at various sites? Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies, but mentions piles of white dust. Dust, but no bodies. Now where have I heard that before? You recall when we went to save Aaronvale from the sentries in the outskirts? That Usher and Malachite told us much of the same thing. When I arrived, I found no body. The pile of dust which the wind quickly scattered. I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it. Both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but the shared mention of this dust is too much to ignore. In that case, we should confirm that this substance was present at other sites and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calyx's murderous actions. We need your heart. I've lost control of the soldiers in the residential area. You're trying to hurt people again. Oblivion members are on their way now, but are you close enough to join them? Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go. We're doing this again, huh? Used.
What happened here?
A sentry walked into my apartment, even though I'd locked the door and everything. I managed to run, but the man who tried to save me...
No weapons, which is to be expected, considering all the sentries were meant to be disarmed. Yet it was ordered to attack all the same, even if that meant using its bare hands.
I'll leave matters here to you. I'm going to do a sweep of the surrounding area.
Do you know anyone else in this sector who no longer wears a regulator?
Oh, I don't think I've seen Isadora and her boy with theirs recently.
Go to them, quickly!
No, not them. Isn't that the boy that has lemon sickness?
I'll be fine. But Isadora's in bad shape. Mother, please.
Isadora! Oh, thank goodness. She wasn't struck anywhere vital.
I'm sorry. If only I'd gotten here sooner.
Everything will be all right. I promise to make your mother better.
Thank you, miss. Will she sleep like that forever?
No, not forever. She'll wake soon, I'm sure of it.
That's good to hear. Thank you for saving her.
Oh boy. Promise of tomorrow. Oh look, that's just one quest. There's 10 apparently. Forgive me, I was reckless. I shouldn't have had to waste time tending my wounds as well. Did you see our other comrade back there? He stayed behind in the lobby. But I heard the sound of fighting. I'm sorry, he must have fallen protecting the residents. The endless choice. Our comrade. You think he may have been struck down? If he is wounded or worse, I should go to him. Wait, please. It isn't safe and you still need rest. Would you stay with Milos? And watch over Isadora for me. We will tend to your friend. Thank you. Please be careful yourself. Like a bunch of people in this apartment. It's just kind of crazy. Oh, all the pizza and stuff I ate yesterday is coming. It's just, Isadora is going to be all right then. I'm so glad. I just finished my administrations here. Our Oblivion comrade was beyond safe and going for a raid. That brave soul, he gave his life to save another. He died protecting me. I don't understand why any of this is happening. That sentry was behaving normally like any other, and then all of a sudden it tried to kill me. Weapons or no, Calyx commanded them to commit murder. Is it over? We came as soon as Walaki he sent word. By the time we arrived, it was already too late. And Jiro could be in trouble too. Once we have this radius locked down, we need to find him. Why? Has something happened? I'm not sure what, but he stopped responding to our communications. We need to prioritize securing the residential sector though. At least until we regain control over the sentries. Then we should search for Geode. I agree, since most Oblivion members have sworn off regulators. If our theory holds true, then they could be a prime targets for the next attack. What you can to shepherd the residents to safety, but avoid the sentries at all costs. Our thanks. Here, take these communicators. We made modifications to them to prevent Calyx from intercepting the signal. I've been using them to coordinate movements with allies in the vicinity. Why not just use good old link shells? That's one too, so I'll ask her to keep hailing Geode. Good luck and stay safe. Said he would sweep the surrounding area, so we shouldn't have ventured too far. Let's keep going. Oh, I'm tired. I've been up since midnight. Honestly, I took a nap. I was trying to stream yesterday after I got done doing with the bank run. I had to go to the bank and stuff. Yeah. I tried to come back and stream Digimon World 3, but my internet was being garbage, so I was like, you know what, let's just go to bed and see if we can get up early enough. Further to the east. And then I was like, I got a couple of hours and then was like, you know what, let's just stay awake, because if I go back to sleep, I might not get up in time to do this. So, okay. No signs of Jill. His voice cracked. We communicated well. Yeah, answer me. There's no response. Perhaps you should continue to search for the east. I'm winning. And the neighbor radius would be the next logical place to look.
this is the only place left. Let them be safe.
Geode, are you there? Answer me, please!
I'm here. Sorry for the long silence. I've been busy.
Oh, you're alive! Thank the gods! Where are you now?
The radius next door. The lobby is secure. I'll scout the second floor. Then I'll join it.
Hold on. They're stealing ether. They're stealing aether.
That dust.
Dust? What are you talking about? What's happening?
They're not just collecting souls. They're draining the bodies of corporeal ether. The dust that we saw was all that was left of the victims. They must have modified the soul cells.
Behind you.
Shit.
Light. That's one way to.
You can't be here. You need to run now.
Perhaps.
A trap. Take care of the others, eh?
No sign of him so far. This way, maybe? Geode!
A shame. I had hoped to leave here with at least one more cell's worth of ether. But seeing how eager you are to interfere, I shall cut this foray short.
Calyx. What could you possibly stand to gain from these atrocities?
Ether sufficient to generate 5,000 endless. How would you require it? Until I have the key, the reflections are closed to me. Thus do I make do with the sources at hand. 7% of Alexandria's current population will yield the energy to convert 5,000 into endless. With 11%, operations could continue unabated for 800 years. Our bodies are fated to decay sooner or later. These ones refuse the gift of eternal life, so what difference does it make if I return them to Ethan now?
The thing is, they were meant to go back to the sea, the ethereal sea. When you die, they were meant to go back to Heidelin.
I will not waste time and resources on meaningless conflict. This unit cannot offer you worthwhile resistance. Instead, I pose a question. Would you hand over the key if I promise to halt my harvest?
Don't give him that. You would only seek other victims.
It was foolish of me to even ask. I return to my work then. There is much to do if I must take the key by force.
We are a lot more active now in this. This pile of dust, these ashes, and the soul shell he left behind. Was that his twisted way of returning Geo to us? Alex, damn you and your careless cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified if it meant 5,000 endless could continue their immortal lives. And if a reflection stolen ether allowed for many more endless, why? That too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Who could think that? Not I. Certainly not I. We own it, we know only too well there is not noble in this sacrifice. The thing is, if he got the key, all we could do is warn the reflections and come together to stop him. We have to stop him. Now, Calyx, and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. And under no circumstances can we let the key fall into his possession, Ronald. It falls on us. We must. We will thwart his plans here in Alexandria before he can terrorize innocents in reflections elsewhere. My memories and yours. We should return to the back room. Shell and the others need to know what happened. Yes. And I'll ask... why Kelly to meet us there as well. Man, everyone's here now. That's how bad this situation has become. You know the worst part? This is supposed to be a happy, fun, yay! We saved the world from, whatchamacallit, all the way back in, and then we stopped the whole ordeal, and it's like,
Geode.
and yet we're still pulled into nightmares and horrible situations.
The soldiers. If only I'd been able to control them.
This isn't your fault, Gololja. The blame lies with Calix, and with him alone. It's all so senseless. Why force his plans upon us when we're already happy, living our lives? What does he even think life is? I'll never forgive Calix for doing this. Or myself for being powerless to stop him. Wait, where are you going? To clear my head. Don't worry, I won't do anything stupid.
Stay here and get some rest. I'll make sure nostalgia stays out of trouble.
Thank goodness, Crow.
Thank you.
Things would have been far worse if you and Geode hadn't rushed in there. Many people are still alive because of you. And after adding what you discovered to the leads we've dug up, I'm hopeful we can determine where Calix is hiding. But not right now. We need time before we can move on. Just a little time.
Oh, Geode.
Another comrade gone. In days, it's almost more than I can bear. He was an older brother to nostalgia and me. Shell knew him long ago, and is surely taking it the hardest. And that on top of what happened to Kashira. Do you think you could check on her, see how she's doing? She's like to put on a brave face if it's me or my sister. Apologies, my mind was elsewhere. We need to press on with the hunt for Calix, but I can't seem to focus. I should be better than this, I know. Is there anything I can do? You can't help yourself, can you? Still, I appreciate the concern. I used to say the best thing to do with grief was to let it all out. So I think I'll take myself over to the earth and sky and say my goodbyes to Geode. Why don't you come along? We could use someone to blubber two of your shoulder to spare. Right then, let's get out of Everkeep for a bit. Oh. No, where are we? Oh, we're outside. It's a fair trek on foot, so I've arranged for a couple of air wheelers. They had their communication modules removed, so even Calyx shouldn't be able to seize control of them. Say the word and we'll set off. Ready? We'll be flying close to the pylon, so follow my lead. Ooh. Ooh. Janelle being... You want to find a smoother ride in all of Everkeep? Kind of want one now. For years now, I've been taking one out for a turn whenever I needed to lighten my mood. Sometimes Gio would come along too. We'd end up racing. Well, I'm not racing. Does that surprise you? Our friendship always had a competitive edge. We would often talk about how one day we might fly our wheelers outside the dome. I don't know. Is that... No, they're just normal enemies. What's there? Be sure the ground is clear before you touch down. I'm gonna be so out of it by the time this day is over. I hope clear my head a touch. You know, Ron, might be the first person I've ridden with who wasn't an Oblivion recruit. As far as I remember, at least, the memories of my regulator days aren't exactly reliable. Come on, let's head inside. Hopefully the way will be clear of pests today. Oh, this is the monster. Oh. Okay, this is the end. This is the mount I'm using, apparently. Thunder Spear. Yeah, I'm so powered. That's because I have the... Thanks. We can usually avoid such encounters, but sometimes they'll wander in and block the only path. Not that it slowed you down at all. I'd never see you fight up close. Or in the surveillance, we clearly didn't do it justice. Hopefully that keeps the route clear for a while, shall we?
Whenever we lost a comrade, the three of us would come back here to reminisce. Me, Geode, and Kafkiwa.
Kafkia. Kafkiwa. That's these names.
A glass?
I think the last time we rose a glass. Geodes.
What are the two of you doing here?
I had a feeling you'd show up. Would you like to join us?
They tell us Oblivion's founders disappeared some decades ago under mysterious circumstances. And it was Kafkiwa who revived our organization.
Cute.
You and Geode helped her with that, didn't you? Tell us more about it. You're keen to know too, right? What they were like back then. The mad things they got up to. That sort of thing.
Those were the days. It was actually right before the Reformation that I met Geode. I still wore a regulator then. I had recently lost someone close to me. I'd also quit a long stint as an adapter to work at a bar of all places. It paid me to sit with patrons and keep them company.
Oh.
So Geode came in one night. It wasn't long before we got into an argument. First-time customer, but tempers flared. And then one of us threw a punch.
You got into a fist fight? What were you even arguing about?
Damned if I know. We were deep in our cups. I think we were both just frustrated and angry at everything. By the end of it, we were both sprawled out in the street. Pair of drunken fools. Then this odd machine stopped to lecture us, scolding us for obstructing the foot traffic and not taking better care of ourselves.
I can't imagine you ever being in such a sorry state. The odd machine. That was Kafkiwa, I take it.
That it was. Once she was done upbraiding us for our unseemly behavior, she launched into a recruitment pitch. Kafkiwa explained that she wanted to protect the outside world from Zoralja's invasion, to keep him from bringing ruin to the place her beloved son lived. And if we were so intent on self-destruction, then perhaps we might consider risking our hides for a just cause. It was a lot to take in. I hadn't given much thought to what lay beyond the barrier, and learning that Kafkiwa herself was already dead was enough to make my head spin. But Geode and I were intrigued by her ideas, and wanted to see this future of hers come to pass.
Geode often spoke of it. He told me that meeting Kafkiwa was what first taught him the value of remembering people.
Like he was sharing a holy revelation.
Oh, but back then you hadn't yet taken on Oblivion's name, had you? Is that so? I just assumed.
It hadn't been Kafkiwa's intention to carry on Oblivion's legacy, nor adopt the cause your parents championed. Not initially, at least. She wasn't even aware such an organized resistance existed. She did, however, suspect the presence of other dissidents, those who objected to resurrecting the memories of the dead in defiance of the natural order. In the hopes of identifying like-minded comrades, we began searching the core system for traces of unauthorized access. And that's how we found it. An anomalous sector in the back of the Neon Stein. According to Melancholy, the door to that mystery had remained firmly shut since she took over the business.
The back room.
The back room. We forced our way in, only to discover that the hideout had long been abandoned. Although the occupants were gone, the equipment they'd left behind contained records of a group calling itself Oblivion. After reading through their exploits and their vision for the future, we made the decision to carry on their work.
The
Thus were my parents' and Kafkiwa's hopes bound together.
And carried onward by Shale and Geode.
We could never have made it this far on our own, of course. Not without the strength of arms you and your friends provided. Losing comrades is a hard thing, but being here, thinking back on the moments we shared, I can see their smiles, hear their laughter. I feel their presence, and I know they're still with us. But these memories of mine are for me alone. Reminders of why I chose to do this, and why I'll stay the course. Right. Time we got back to work. Thank you, everyone.
No, it's me who should be thanking you. Though the pain is still deep, I don't feel like I'm drowning in it anymore. Let's get out there and put a stop to Calyx. For you, for me, and for everyone who's ever believed in Oblivion.
I appreciate you helping me through this. You not only the group, you helped me see that my comrades mean even more to me than I realized. So it fuels my determination. I'll be spending every waking moment working to bring Calyx to it for his crimes. I'll do my part, then you do yours. Oblivion needs you. I don't know which one to pick.